you gotta stay in, and you know where I live. Yeah, you know what we is. Sometimes you gotta stay in. Welcome to my house, baby, take control now. We can't even slow down. We don't have to go a while. Welcome to my house, play the music too loud. Show me what you do now. We don't have to go a while. Welcome to my house. Welcome to my house. Morning comes and you know that you wanna stay. Close the blinds, let's pretend that the time has changed. Keep our clothes on the floor, open up champagne.
Boy, I can't believe I survived that last hour and a half of that. Alright, let's get right into it. What's going on, guys? This is the Club of the Man 1993 coming at you for the second to last video in my retro WrestleMania review series, as we are now on WrestleMania 32, the WrestleMania known for breaking the attendance record. Even though the WWE did kind of cheat a little bit on it, but I will get to the actual numbers when we get to that moment of the show where the attendance record was revealed, because that whole segment just tanked. That was like the part that really like caused this show to really dip in quality. Going back and watching WrestleMania 32 for a second, because I remember I came out of WrestleMania 32, and for most of it, I hated it. I hated WrestleMania 32. And I still don't really like WrestleMania 32. But after watching it again, I think the first time watching it, I guess the reason why I didn't like it is because a lot of people lost that I felt needed the win. Which is true. It's what happened. Just guys like, AJ Styles, The New Day, Dean Ambrose, Shane McMahon, a few others, other odds and ends in there. But you still look at it, and most of those matches still were, bearable matches to watch. There was a couple pretty bad matches on this show, though. Some letdowns, and of course that main event. I'll keep my composure until we get to that main event. But WrestleMania 32, after watching it again, it's an alright show. But the one thing about it, it's very inconsistent. As I usually say about most of the WrestleManias in the PG era. Very inconsistent shows. A good amount of them. Not all of them, but a good amount of them. So, this WrestleMania took place last year, April 3rd, 2016, at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas. Now, last year's WrestleMania also, I mentioned how the build was not good. Wasn't so good for this WrestleMania either, and a problem was around this time, the WWE had the injury bug. We had, who was all out this time? Seth Rollins was out with his knee injury. We had Randy Orton out with the shoulder injury. John Cena and Cesaro out with rotator cuff injuries. Luke Harper was out. I feel like there were a couple others I'm missing, but we had quite a few people out to injuries. So talent was very thin, and it was a good time to try to build some new stars and build new opportunities. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, and a lot of this stuff. This WrestleMania was just based around one person, Roman Reigns. The storyline he was involved in started out good, but then it tanked. But I'll talk about that when we get to that main event. But let's get right into the show. There were 8 matches. No, I'm sorry. Technically 9 matches on the main show. And with that, this WrestleMania should have been just 4 hours long. This should not have been a 5-hour WrestleMania. Definitely not. That last hour and a half dragged. Takes you out of it. And watch it the second time. I felt the same way I did the first time I watched it. But including the pre-show, this WrestleMania had 11 matches. 3 of them being on the pre-show. We had Ryback and Kalisto for the U.S. title. We had the Usos and the Dudley Boys in just a regular match. And we had a 10 Diva tag match. It was Team Total Divas with, I think it was Paige, Brie Bella, Natalya, Alicia Fox, and Eva Marie. That was a very random match. Against Team Bad and Blonde. If I can remember all of them, I believe it was Summer Rae, Tamina, Naomi, Emma and Lana. That's when Lana made her first wrestling appearance, even though she didn't really wrestle that much in the match. But that was more of sort of like a send-off match as Brie Bella was getting ready to go on her leave for her baby. I say leave because there is still rumors that she may come back eventually whenever Nikki comes back after, taking time for her neck injury. And Nikki also came out as well to, show support for her sister as well. That was alright, but some of those matches I felt just didn't need to happen. Like the U.S. title match would be nice to have it on the main show, given Kalisto the time. This was Ryback's also final WrestleMania, right before Ryback locked out of the WWE. I'll talk about him a little bit actually when we get to one of the matches, because I know the original WrestleMania plans for Ryback this year. But, the 10 Diva tag match felt unnecessary. The Usos and the Dudley Boys I felt should have been combined with the New Day and League of Nations. Yeah, the League of Nations, remember them being a fatal 4-way, like, Extreme Rules or TLC match, but that didn't happen. But yeah, whatever. Again, the show was 4 hours and 51 minutes. Too long of a show. With all the matches we had, like WrestleMania 33 was 5 hours and 10 minutes. Yeah, too long, but it was a stacked WrestleMania. It was very stacked. This one wasn't a stack. There was no need for this to go 4 hours and 51 minutes and me begging for the show to end. That wasn't the case. But, anyways, let's get right into the main card, though. Those were the pre-show matches. I didn't watch any of them, I don't think. No, I mean, I did. I think I saw the ending to the 10 Diva tag match, but I didn't watch Ryback and Kalisto or, the Usos and the Dudleys. But let's get to it now. We open up with the WWE Intercontinental Championship ladder match. It was the second year in a row they did a 7-person ladder match. It was Kevin Owens, the Intercontinental Champion, taking on Dolph Ziggler, The Miz, Sami Zayn, Stardust, Sin Cara, and Zack Ryder. This was a really good opening match. I don't know which one I like better. I don't know if I like the Intercontinental Championship match WrestleMania 31 better, or if I like this one better. They were both really good matches. Maybe this one, because there was some, fresh names in there. Like, this was Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn's first WrestleMania. Gave Miz on the card there as well. Dolph Ziggler, deserves a spot. Stardust, which this was also right before Cody Rhodes hit the road and went to find better opportunities, and Zack Ryder got his opportunity as well. Now, here's the thing about this match, though. Zack Ryder was supposed to be in this match. Neville was supposed to be in this match, but this is when Neville got hurt. He got hurt. I can't remember the day. It was the Raw in Pittsburgh in his match against Chris Jericho, because I was there that night. But Neville was supposed to be in this match. Zack Ryder replaced him. And again, there was some pretty nasty bumps. The one I remember specifically was the one wherever Sami Zayn, just did some, powerbomb Kevin Owens on the apron, and his head, went in between the spots of the ladder. I thought Kevin Owens was knocked out. I thought he was gone when that happened, but it didn't happen. I thought it was going to be Sami winning the Intercontinental title, but it didn't happen. The match ended when The Miz went up, and he was taking it all in, with the Intercontinental title about to take it, and Zack Ryder, the guy who I'm like, he has no chance to win. Either him or Sin Cara had no chance of winning this match at all. Zack Ryder pushes The Miz off the ladder, and he wins the Intercontinental title. We were all at Dan's house. We were all just shocked. We're like, whoa, but that was one of those losses where I'm like, okay, I'm cool with this. It's like, Zack's getting a title, cool. I've seen Zack been just a complete joke for how many years. I was just happy to see him get that WrestleMania moment as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't last, as the next night on Raw, where, it was set for the return of Maurice, and The Miz got the title off Ryder, and then, he lost the rematch on SmackDown that Thursday night to The Miz. But let me tell you something. Even though at first I was like, oh, come on, we're putting this back on The Miz for no reason. Come on, it's going to be a waste of time. 2016 was probably The Miz's best year, I'd say. Especially with the Intercontinental title. And this year, also 2017, is around the Intercontinental title. Not as good as last year's, but it was still good, as The Miz has put on some of the best promos, heel work that he's had probably in his whole WWE career. So, at first, I didn't like The Miz taking the title off of Ryder like he did, but now, it's best thing probably could have happened to Miz, because he's been on just a career run ever since, including his Talking Smack promo with Daniel Bryan, where he just laid it all into Daniel Bryan and just telling all the truth about him, to the point where Daniel Bryan literally just got up and walked away. He could have gone off and cried for all we know, because The Miz was just being so hard on him. But yep, that was that match. A great way to open up the show. Set the bar really high. The next match was one of those matches where the match was good, didn't really like the results. I was okay. Okay, here's the thing. You could say kind of the same thing about Sting and Triple H from last year, but like last year's finish was abrupt. This is actually a pretty cool finish, but I wasn't quite happy with it at the same time. It was AJ Styles taking on Chris Jericho, the fourth match they had against each other. This is AJ Styles' first WrestleMania, as he was a surprise entrant in the 2016 Royal Rumble match, which that was a good Royal Rumble. Recommend checking it out if you never saw it. But and he had this feud with Chris Jericho. Basically, just, Styles getting in there, showing he belongs here, taking on Chris Jericho. They had 3 matches. They had the third match at Fastlane. Styles had won 2 out of 3 of them. So, Jericho had earned respect for Styles. And then they became a tag team, Y2AJ, and earned a tag title shot against the New Day. But during this time, you can slowly see, you knew that turn was coming. Jericho was getting jealous of, Styles' attention. And when they lost in their tag title shot to New Day, probably one of the better tag matches of the year, Jericho turned on Styles, just admitting his jealousy and whatnot, burning the Y2AJ shirt in a trash can on SmackDown. That was a pretty sick-looking segment. And it just led to Jericho having one of the best heel runs of his career. Best probably since 2008. That's where, the list of Jericho was invented. And he also got to form his alliance with Kevin Owens, even though their feud with, Rollins and Reigns was kind of overdone, but still, you can't get credit. That was still a good alliance between those two. But now, the match itself between Jericho and Styles, I feel like it's what I asked for. Would be nice if there was a stipulation to it, but it didn't. Again, Styles went in there looking strong for his first WrestleMania. The only thing I didn't like, though, Styles didn't win. Jericho won. Now, I've always said that Chris Jericho has always been this guy who's come back. He's done a good job putting people over, even if he makes himself still look good while putting people over. However, there's sometimes where I feel like Jericho does need to get a win here and there just to keep his credibility going as well. I felt though this wasn't the night. Although, in some retrospect, again, he was about to go on a really strong heel run. Probably give him some momentum there. A couple other things though. I heard rumors that Jericho was supposed to feud with Roman Reigns at first after WrestleMania instead of him feud with Dean Ambrose. So that's maybe why they gave him the win then, but then they gave Styles the win at that fatal 4-way match for number 1 contendership on the Raw after WrestleMania that year. And also AJ Styles was actually supposed to, rumors have it, according to conversation with the big guy, Ryback was supposed to face AJ Styles at this WrestleMania because, as he said, Vince apparently told him that the plan for him when he offered him his new contract was, you're going to turn him heel, make me the top heel of the company, put the WWE title on me, and he was going to start doing that by squashing AJ Styles at WrestleMania, which that would have been terrible. I mean, I would not want to see that at all. But either way, WWE had no intention of having AJ get the win at WrestleMania this year. So yeah, but of course it didn't happen. Ryback faced Kalisto, and then he walked out after Payback. But not want to talk about the big guy. We're talking about AJ Styles and Chris Jericho again. Despite that finish though, with Jericho getting the win, which I was a little disappointed with. I wanted Styles to win. I still thought the match was pretty good. I gotta respect the match for how good it was. Just what I expected for. Then we had this match. It was the New Day, and I consider their first legit WrestleMania since the year before they were on the pre-show, but they were still not really getting over. They were just thrown together. They looked like a bunch of clowns together, but then they turned them heel and they made it work. Against a team that didn't work out too well, the League of Nations. That's a team of Sheamus, Rusev, Alberto Del Rio, and not Wade Barrett, not Bad News Barrett. We had King Barrett. And the thing was I swore this match was a 4-on-3 handicap match. Ended up being just a 6-man tag match. No titles on the line. Wade Barrett wasn't used. This was right before Wade Barrett was released. But they were really booking him like crap. They made him the obvious weak link of the League of Nations. Even whenever Barrett was dealing with some nagging injuries, they had him just sitting at ringside like a crony for whoever was in the ring. And it just made me mad. I'm just like, okay, you're literally just toying around with it right now. I don't blame Barrett for wanting to get out of them. One of the most underutilized talents in the business, especially the Nexus thing falling through. That that was atrocious. They should have won that match against SummerSlam. They should have been just a lot better than they were. 7 or 8 guys getting over right there, but nope. You gotta have a happy ending to SummerSlam. Well, we didn't have a happy ending in 2013, but you're okay with going that route. But anyways, this match, well, first off, was entertained about this match. So before the match even started, the New Day came out of a Bootio's cereal box dressed in Dragon Ball Z outfits, which that was pretty cool. The entrance they made as well as the impact they made. But the match was average, decent. It just felt like a tag match you'd see on Raw. It didn't really feel like anything, too special really for WrestleMania. League of Nations the one, which I thought was a huge ripoff because the New Day, despite being longest reigning tag champions, they didn't really have the best moment this year. This last year, but in this year they were just the hosts, weren't even a part of the matches at all. It's like with being how strongly built up they've been, you'd think they would have had some type of big WrestleMania moment or big time WrestleMania match. That's why I would have rather had it been New Day, League of Nations, Dudleys, and Usos in a fatal 4-way TLC or Extreme Rules match or some with some stipulation. That wasn't the case. But what made up for the bad taste I had from this match is afterwards where the League of Nations like, yeah, no one can stand toe-to-toe with us, blah, blah, blah. Out came HBK, Mick Foley, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Went in there and they tore the house down, pretty much taking out Del Rio, Sheamus, and Rusev, which props to Rusev. He really sold that Stone Cold Stunner pretty darn good. I felt. But then, of course, the New Day throw in King Barrett, and of course, since, like I say, he was being treated like crap, he's the one they hit him with all 3 finishers with, pretty much. He didn't sell the Stone Cold Stunners good. Next night on Raw was when they kicked Barrett out of the group. That was pretty much Barrett's way out, pretty much. And then they were supposed to feud the Wyatt family until Bray Wyatt got injured, which I was so mad because Bray Wyatt was on the verge of a huge face turn, especially after the crap they got at this WrestleMania. We'll talk about that later as well. But then they would eventually disband, whatever, just a complete waste of time. League of Nations. They win again, but I like the appearance of HBK, Mick Foley, and Stone Cold afterwards. Okay, we got to talk about this match. This match was a huge letdown. Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar in a no-holds-barred street fight. Pretty much Dean Ambrose showing how crazy he was, saying you can pretty much, rip me to shreds, but I'm still going to be fighting you, whatnot. The storytelling was simple. The build was awesome. All these weapons that Ambrose was getting to prepare for his fight with the Beast. We're probably going to get, a John Moxley style looking match from when Ambrose was in CZW and whatnot. And we thought this was going to be a match of the night, tearing the house on. Even I felt Ambrose could have won this match, and I felt that it was obvious that Roman Reigns was going to be winning the title. Him and Roman could have feuded for the title, that summer. Because that's still a feud I would like to see is Roman and Dean feud. Because we've seen Roman and Seth, Dean and Seth feud. We've never seen Roman and Dean feud. They've had one-offs once in the blue moon, but I felt like this match could have given that win. But as Dean said on the Stone Cold podcast or whatever, Brock didn't want to do anything. And the match just showed, Dean would pull out the weapons and Brock would be I don't need this stuff. Just showing that even not kayfabe wise, but for real, Brock didn't want to do anything. It was basically just, Suplex City, F5 on chairs, that's it. 12-minute match. I remember when the match ended, when I watched it the first time, I felt like it had so much more. I'm like, oh, Dean's going to show he's crazy enough to kick out of a bunch of steel chairs. He didn't kick out. I'm like, that's it? Really? I really thought, the barbed wire bat was barely used as well. That the chainsaw was not used that Terry Funk gave him. It was just what was the point of all this? Brock literally did absolutely nothing in this match. It's Dean was throwing the weapons at him, but Brock was like, yes, I don't need this, whatever. He didn't want to do anything. Ambrose himself even said he was frustrated about it. Biggest letdown probably of the year. That was that. Now this match though, this to me was match of the night. This, if anybody mentions WrestleMania 32, this is what I'm always going to remember. This was the night that the Divas Championship went bye-bye, and it was the return of the Women's Championship in a triple threat match between 3 upcomers who came up to the main roster the previous summer, in the summer of 2015, and changed the landscape of women's wrestling. and they were well deserving to be in this match to bring back the Women's Championship. Charlotte, who is the current Divas Champion, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch. Amazing women's match. The last time you pretty much had a great women's match was Mickey and Trish back at WrestleMania 22. Ever since then, we've had, tag team matches and battle royales, or heck, I think one or a couple of WrestleManias, we didn't even see any women's action at all. At least on the main show, at least. But still, this was the year, this is one thing to take away from 2016. 2016 still was a good year, despite having some moments, but 2016 was still a great year in WWE. One thing to take away from it is the year women's wrestling returned. And I give all the credit to Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha, because this match was what made it happen. These three women who were up on the main roster to make a difference, and they sure as heck did. It didn't look like, just like, two, models just having a cat fight. It was legit superstars wrestling. The submissions that they were trying to be put on them, the moonsault by Charlotte. Heck, even, I think it was Becky Lynch took out the Nature Boy, Ric Flair himself. Woo! And the blue robe also Charlotte wore. She said in the WrestleMania 32 24 special how, she felt like, she was, living her late brother Reed's dream for him since he passed away at a young age. But how much that moment to them, but yes, the women stole the show tonight. Excellent match. Again, they all three of them were well deserving of this moment. And again, this is what brought back women's wrestling to me, in my opinion. Hats off to you three. You guys were awesome. We then had, now this match didn't have too good build. The match was okay, but I mean, it still was acceptable to me. It wasn't, I was still like, even watching it again, still enjoying the show until after, I'd say, this match or the following match. That's when it definitely just tanked. This is where I think it started to, slip a little bit. But this match, the Hell in a Cell match, Undertaker taking on Shane McMahon. This is when Shane McMahon returned to WWE unexpectedly the night after Fastlane, saying he wants control of Raw, and Vince says, well, all you had to do is have one match, one place, and win it at WrestleMania against The Undertaker inside Hell in a Cell. Why fight The Undertaker? I mean, the only thing that really made this a little more interesting was Vince saying that, if The Undertaker doesn't win, then his career is over. Okay, but again, why would you punish Shane? Like, Undertaker's not a full supporter of Vince McMahon, but Undertaker's being thrown in the middle of this. This was still like a face-on-face match. Undertaker had nothing really to lose here. His legacy was already over, as Shane said after his loss at WrestleMania 30. The match, I'd say, was definitely a little bit better than the match at WrestleMania 30. Maybe not as good. I still think Bray and Undertaker still had like a decent match last year, but this match wasn't really anything too special. I just didn't think, Taker and Shane really meshed well with their chemistry, especially also being Hell in a Cell. This did not feel like a Hell in a Cell match, other than, the coast to coast, Taker just running Shane through the when Shane tried breaking open the cell, and then Undertaker slamming him through there, and then Shane jumping off the steel, which I remember I was like, I can't watch, this is too hard first time. Like, this is too hard to watch. And Shane actually did it. But then I read somewhere today that rumors have it apparently, I don't know if this is true or not, but Shane was supposed to win the match, but with how beat up he was from that fall, I guess he must have told, right before that finish, because Taylor seemed confused, he's like, finish it off, or I guess I'm not going to be in good shape to, show off, this fine fashion or whatever. I heard a rumor about that, but I'm not sure if that's completely true. Taker won the match. He's 23-1 now at WrestleMania. I'm pretty sure this if they were, and then the next night on Raw, though, Shane still gets to run Raw, just because of his performance. Okay, somewhat of a defense, because yes, he did show some courage in this match and show that how much he really wanted it. But still, it looked pointless all in the end. Undertaker didn't need to wrestle. I mean, all respect to the Undertaker, but he didn't really need to wrestle in WrestleMania 33. Him not being too relevant anymore because of the streak being over. I felt like I was fine with just him seeing him come back and win again at WrestleMania 31, even though we had Bray Wyatt win. But that match was okay, Taker still's got it. There's nothing really else for him to really prove, honestly. But Taker won. Match is okay. Didn't really need to be Hell in a Cell again. Probably only Hell in a Cell just so Shane could jump off the cell. But whatever. And then this match I thought was going to be on the pre-show. I can't believe this match was actually this late in the show. It was the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, the third one. The match was it was okay. Again, my favorite was still the first one when Cesaro won. This match, though, had just a lot of, stars that weren't built up too well in there. I didn't really care too much. And also, Shaquille O'Neal appeared as well, so I'm just like, yay, whatever. It was supposed to set up a match between Big Show and Shaquille O'Neal for Big Show's retirement match, WrestleMania 33 this year, but those plans fell through and didn't happen. But now here's the thing. I thought at first Kane did win. I believe the last two you threw out were Darren Young. I can't remember who the last one was. I thought at first Kane won. But I completely forgot that Baron Corbin was in this match. At first, I'm just like, oh, come on. Really? I guess Kane's got to win. Got to win 1-2, whatever. But then Baron Corbin came over, William A. Kane and Corbin. I'm like, okay, yes. Yes, I'll take it. I was happy with Corbin winning. He's done all right, I'd say so far on main roster, even though his momentum got cut off a little bit by Cena at SummerSlam this year. But he's done all right so far as U.S. champion. So I guess I could say him winning the Andre the Giant has not been a complete flop either way. So I was cool with this. I was happy Corbin won. That's fine. Even though the match was kind of meh. Again, the show started to dip a little bit, but what happened next? This show really took off there, and it had a big effect on my grade for this show after what happened here. So, it had been hyped that The Rock was going to be at WrestleMania. The Rock returned the night after the Royal Rumble to talk about, it's just advertise himself for being at WrestleMania. He's like, why am I going to be at WrestleMania? Well, you'll see why then, whatnot. So it was like, okay, great, The Rock's going to be here. What's he going to do? Something amazing. Well, The Rock announces the attendance, which was a record-breaking 101,763, even though WWE admitted they just gave the rest of them away for free, so they didn't sell all their tickets. The real total they sold was 93,730. So there was that, and then when The Rock's about to say, something big is about to happen, like, oh, what is it? And then the Wyatt family comes out, I'm like, oh gosh, we're on the card. Something bad's gonna happen here. Came out, it eventually set up to Rock wanted to challenge one of them to a match. And the three Wyatt family members were Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, and Eric Rowan, because Luke Harper was out in injury. But yeah, Braun Strowman, of course, did not look good around this time at all. This is before Braun Strowman got his singles push. But then they chose Eric Rowan. And The Rock beat Eric Rowan in 6 seconds. Just to set up John Cena, who was out for with a rotator cuff injury, just to come in and they beat down on the Wyatt family, just burying them even further into the ground. So you hyped up The Rock to come back just to announce an attendance record, and then to have him and Cena, who should have been hating each other, not having respect for each other after the feud that they had, after once in a lifetime, and you had them just do this? That took up 30 minutes of the show. And as I said, this show should not have been 4 hours and 51 minutes. This could have been cut completely, and we could have had that main event. It could have gone just a little bit over 4 hours, maybe, and I would have been okay with it. But this in particular really affected the show, because at this point, we were all just done. We were just like, when's this over? When's this over? We still had that atrocious booked main event to get to. Oh, my goodness. And I'm about to talk about that right now. The WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. The main event at WrestleMania 32. Triple H, the champion, taking on Roman Reigns. I watched this match a second time today. Again, it's the second time I ever watched this match. I hated it the first time. Second time, it was even worse. Well, or just as bad. The same effect. I kept literally looking down at my phone as I was Chromecasting on my TV just to see how much longer was left in this show. I'm like, how much longer in this match? How much longer in this match? This match went on for 27 minutes. And again, despite the bad build, as I say bad build, it started off good with, Roman Reigns refusing to, of course, side with the Authority as always. And then when Triple H just went out of his way to cost Roman the championship, he finally beat him down in the League of Nations at TLC, which that was cool. Triple H returning at the Rumble, eliminating Reigns to win the title. Like, okay, even though I felt this feud didn't really need to have the title involved in it, the odds were all stacked against Roman Reigns. The pop he got in Philadelphia when he won the title off of Sheamus at the Raw after TLC was amazing. But as I keep saying, what happened was they saw that people were starting to get behind Roman. They just, jumped the gun and went back to the old thing. The following night after the Royal Rumble, Triple H said that Roman's not going to get another opportunity for his title as long as he's champion. But by the end of the night, they just handed him an opportunity for no reason whatsoever. They just said, all right, it's going to be Roman, Dean, and Brock at Fastlane for the number one contendership. No reason at all. And again, why would Triple H want to face any of these guys? Even if they wanted to get Roman Reigns into this title match, they had to stack the odds against him a lot better than what they did. Like a gauntlet match. Or, if they wanted to make it Roman and Dean for this spot. Go as far as, having the Authority trying to break the friendship between Roman and Dean. That would at least put a little bit more oomph into the story, even though I don't know why Triple H want to face Dean Ambrose. But, or a gauntlet match. And make, if they overcame all those obstacles, making the final obstacle be he had to beat his own best friend, Dean Ambrose. Or something else. Don't just hand him the opportunity. Because the match at Fastlane, it was just Dean and Roman just pushing Brock out of the ring and just them just, hitting each other for a couple minutes. That's all the main event at Fastlane was. The build, again, was just terrible. And yes, the beatdowns between them were cool, but after a while, it just got boring. It's like you're doing the same thing every week. You're just beating down everybody. Even the video package they showed for this just showed that there was no build at all. Yes, Triple H won the title for getting revenge on Roman for beating him down at TLC, and then Roman's got handed an opportunity. Even just watching the video package, you're already taken out of the match. And what makes me mad too is WWE just mentioned how they need to cut back on a lot of things because they have to save money for stuff. How much pyro did they use for Roman in this main event? The main event where they obviously turned down the crowd audio because they couldn't handle, hearing people boo Romans as badly as they were. They used pyro, in the ring. Even Roman's entrance, outside there's all these fireworks going off because Roman Reigns is making his way to the entrance. That made me mad too. And the match itself, without just dragging on, all I could say is this was much worse than than Triple H and Randy Orton at WrestleMania 25. They were literally half doing it. They were just walking around like this is a match where I'm if anything, these two are going to go in there and try to kill each other pretty much. Just like Brock and Roman did last year. They're going to go in there and just try to kill each other. No. They walked around. You should Stephanie screaming out, quit! 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 I'm going crazy just watching this match again, as I said. The only good thing about this match, Stephanie got speared. That was it. And then they handed Triple H a sledgehammer for him to use. He pretty much, he was he just held up, he's like, okay, Roman, I'll try to hit you. No, don't hit me. Just hit me whenever you want, Roman. We'll end this match. And then no one cared at the end. It's such a shame, too, because ever since the Shield and Evolution feud in 2014, this was a dream match of mine. I felt these two could go out there and just try to kill each other. And that's what I wanted to see. But instead, we just got them just, just half-assing it, pretty much. Boring, terrible main event. I don't know if it's bad as Miz and Cena, though, but it's definitely probably one of the worst main events in WrestleMania history. It was my worst match of the year in my year review video on Daniel Guys' channel last year. It was my worst match of the year. But yeah, WrestleMania 32, again, was a bearable show. I'd say it was a pretty good show, despite the results, up until after the women's triple threat match. Taker and Shane and the Andre the Giant Royal Battle Royal, those were okay. Again, it kind of hurt the show just a tad, but not much. But then as soon as that segment with The Rock came out, where, again, it was just a big letdown, and even worse with the main event, made it even worse. That last hour and a half, as I said before, dragged way too long. They could have cut that whole thing with The Rock and Cena and the Wyatts. They could have just, cut some time off of Triple H and Roman Reigns. This show would have been just fine. Well, at 4 hours. This show would have probably be a little bit more bearable to watch. But no, this show was just long. Too long. And the last portion just dipped. That's why I gotta say the show is very consistent. I gotta give it a C. That's a great one to give WrestleMania 32. What are your thoughts on WrestleMania 32? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure to click that like and subscribe for more content on this channel. And follow me on Twitter at TheManAirborne93. And tonight I'll be reviewing NXT Live. And then I'm going to try to... I probably won't finish it tonight, but definitely tomorrow or Friday, expect to see the final review in this Retro WrestleMania review series. And of course, this review series will continue on once the other WrestleManias come around, but make sure to tune to the final one as we finally wrap up this WrestleMania review series. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I'm the Clubman 1993. Have a good night.